Shiver My Timbers. Donald Duck's sea captain cousin, Moby, was a whale hunter by trade, but not a very successful one. He had all the makings of a great sailor, a sturdy ship, years of experience, and an impressive command of nautical lingo. But there was one problem: Moby had a heart to soft for his own good. No matter how many times he set sail in search of whales, he never actually caught any. Perhaps it was because he secretly admired their majestic beauty, or maybe because deep down, he just couldn't bring himself to harm them. On this particular morning, as Moby stood on the deck of his ship preparing for a long voyage, he heard an all too familiar voice call out from the dock. "Ahoy, Moby! Can I come with you?" Moby turned and felt his stomach sink. There, standing with an eager grin and a small, overstuffed suitcase, was his cousin Feathery Duck. Feathery was well-meaning, to be sure. He was full of enthusiasm, always eager to lend a hand, and had a natural curiosity about the world. Unfortunately, he also had a knack for misunderstanding instructions, causing accidents, and generally turning any simple task into complete chaos. Moby hesitated. He knew what would happen if Feathery joined him on this voyage: trouble, miscommunication, probably a few minor disasters. But Moby was too kind-hearted to refuse. "Fine," he sighed, rubbing his beak. "But please try not to cause any trouble." Feathery beamed and hopped aboard. The moment his feet hit the deck, Moby began barking orders. "All right, weigh the anchor." Feathery scratched his head. "Where are the scales?" "I can't weigh the anchor without scales." Moby groaned, already regretting his decision. "No, no, no. Weighing the anchor means pulling it up, so we can set sail." "Oh, that makes sense," Feathery gasped, grabbing the thick rope connected to the anchor. He gave it a mighty yank, far mightier than necessary. With a loud hump, the anchor shot up from the water and crashed onto the deck with a force that made the entire ship shudder. A few wooden planks splintered from the impact. Moby winced, looking at the damage. This was not a good start. Trying to keep Feathery occupied and out of trouble, Moby decided to send him below deck. "Why don't you go make some soup for lunch?" he suggested, hoping this would be a simple enough task. Feathery saluted. "Aye, aye, Captain." And with that, he disappeared down into the galley. Time passed. Moby focused on steering the ship, grateful for the sudden peace and quiet. But then he smelled something that wasn't the fresh sea air or the salty breeze. Something was burning. "All hands on deck," Moby bellowed, realizing something had gone very, very wrong. Moments later, up came Feathery walking on his hands. Moby's beak fell open. "What are you doing? You said all hands on deck." Feathery explained, wobbling precariously as he tried to keep his balance. Moby groaned and buried his face in his hands. Hands means semen, not actual hands. Just then, the smell of burning grew stronger. Moby's eyes widened. "Wait, what is that smell?" Feathery gasped. "Oh, the soup!" He spun around, losing his balance in the process, and tumbled forward. smacking into the mast with a loud thud. At that very moment, the pot of soup came tumbling up the stairs from the galley, bouncing along the deck before landing right at Moby's feet. The lid flew off, revealing a sticky, bubbling mess of something. Moby stared at it, horrified. "Fethry, what is that?" "Seaweed and clam chowder," Fethry said proudly. "I thought it would be more authentic if I used ingredients from the ocean." Moby took a step back. It smelled awful. Before he could even think of a response, Fethry clapped his hands. "What's next, Captain?" Moby pinched the bridge of his beak. Just box the compass." Now, any experienced sailor would have understood what that meant, checking the compass and reciting the directions. But Fethry was not an experienced sailor, so he did what he thought made sense. He rolled up his sleeves, balled his fists, and started punching the compass. Whack, crack, clunk. The glass shattered. The needle spun wildly before stopping completely. The compass was now nothing more than a broken heap of metal. Moby's feathers stood on end. "Fethry." Fethry gulped. "UH. Was I not supposed to do that?" Moby was speechless. His only navigational tool was now in pieces. They were out at sea with no way of knowing which direction they were heading. With a deep, slow breath, Moby grabbed the wheel and turned it sharply. "That's it. We're heading back. But what about the whales?" Fethry asked, blinking. "If we keep going, we'll be lost at sea before we ever see a whale." Moby growled, "The compass tells us which way we're moving. We can't go far without it." Fethry sighed. "Oh, what a shame. I was really looking forward to some cousin bonding time." Moby clenched his jaw and said nothing. He focused on steering the ship back toward port, all the while resisting the urge to throw Fethry overboard. When they finally docked, Fethry hopped off and waved enthusiastically. "Don't forget to let me know next time you go whaling," he called. Moby watched him go, then turned back to his ship. The deck was splintered from the anchor, the galley was probably a disaster, and the compass was utterly destroyed. He let out a long, weary sigh. "Shiver my timbers," he muttered. "I wouldn't go on a boating lake with him again." With that, he turned to assess the damage, knowing it would take days to clean up Fethry's mess. Maybe, just maybe, his next voyage would go smoother as long as Fethry wasn't on board.